It is the business which is more important, and as long as accounting faithfully, honestly communicates those results, I think accounting would be respected. But if the accounting does not communicate it honestly, the accounting would not be respected. And therefore my appeal as the chairman of NACAS is, let's try and do something which evolves around the process, which establishes, which standardizes, and which strengthens the principles of accounting, whether merger, acquisition or demerger. I'm not speaking on the basis of some research papers which are circulated. I've done my own studies on this subject, and I can still very openly say that this is one area which is good enough for subject of PhD in terms of whether value created are genuine or whether value created are paper values. I thought this is one thought which I would leave with you. A few other procedural aspects where I sit on the boards of few companies, and therefore I have the experience of seeing that when the merger has to take place, the meeting is normally at 10 o'clock in the morning. Both meetings happen simultaneously, and both boards will get the valuation report or whatever is called on the same day at 9:45 or sometimes at 10 o'clock. And when you ask as an independent director on the board that why is it so late, the answer is normally it's confidential and therefore it is prepared on the table. I would put a plain question to all of you that somebody who prepares the valuation report, which is across the board known to the people who prepare it, when it comes to the board of the company which are going to be amalgamated, if they get it 15 minutes earlier, how do you take a judgment? How do you take a call? And how do you accept the valuations as genuine? These are bad questions to be answered in public, but I think if you are a director in a company and if you are not involved in the day-to-day management, how would you answer the question? But the real point is, how many of us raise these questions? I think the principles of independent directors laid down in SEBI and Code of Conduct require that our thinking process has to be as independent as possible, and then few of these questions would come to us naturally. But whereas if you go by the law which is written, or we go by the language which is written, some of these things are not necessarily written in the language in which they should be used. So all the mergers and acquisitions, I would appeal openly to all of you, how many of you read it before we go for the board meeting? I'm trying to take a few aspects which I found to be difficult to digest when I deal with these topics in public life. And therefore this is not a criticism, but this is just I would say a painful thinking of one of the students of the subject of commerce and accounting as to how the process happens and how the results are predetermined when it goes through the process. And therefore my appeal to all of you is that when you sit on the process of mergers, demergers, acquisitions and whatnot, the reports which come before you, and if you are an independent director or if you are a director of a company, how do you accept that proposition on the basis of reading of the report? A 200-page report, are we able to read in 10 minutes? Are we able to digest it in 15 minutes? Some merchant banker which has taken about a month or 15 days to prepare the report, do we take it for granted in half an hour meeting? I think I have something to say on the technical content, but I thought the procedural aspects, the practical aspects of it, let me state a few things. The next point is many of us get used to talk something which is easy to communicate and difficult to implement. There are programs like Walk the Talk, Talk the Walk. The question is, do we really do it in practice? Value creation is always good. Value in terms of money is excellent. But value in terms of integrity, honesty, and all those things which follow in business, how much do we really implement in reality? I think these may be good questions to be answered because ultimately the shareholders, which are ordinary public, which necessarily do not have a say in the day-to-day function of the company, looks at all of experts like us to preserve that value which is really the business. Why do people elect people on the board? Because they would like to see that we preserve that value for the ordinary shareholder and not only for those who are managing the business. And therefore I would say that taking few of some Hindi words in between, बोलो वही जिसके नीचे हस्ताक्षर कर सको, बोलो वही जिसके नीचे हस्ताक्षर कर सको, सोचो वही जो बेहिचक बोल सको, सोचो वही जो बेहिचक बोल सको. I think the point is when one participates in the seminars, conferences, one gets used to language which is very, very official, which is absolutely correct, and which is theoretical. When we go back to our table, do we really implement it? I would say that that is the most important aspect. Practices which are based on theory are excellent, but practices which are pure practice and which are no theory would not lead us for a long way in terms of value creation, which was talked about. And when we start to create theories out of practice, I think we are going to create problems for all of us. And all of us, I would say, are professionals serving the society at large. So as long as society gets some value out of us, whatever we do, a society is going to respect us, society is going to be with us. But when we stop creating the value, or we are not able to create the value properly, a time would come where some other professions will take over our kind of professions. Whether it's a chartered accountant, company secretary, lawyer, I think all of us remain to be valuable only as long as we take care of that ultimate person who does not necessarily understand accounting, but who knows that if a balance sheet is signed by so and so, I can safely rely upon it. I would say that in mergers and acquisitions, a time has come that if a merger is approved by so and so, would it indicate that yes, it will take care of interest of all the shareholders who are very ordinary shareholders and who have no specific claim or right or obligation in the entire scheme. And I would only end up by saying that a program like this is extremely useful for all of us. I also happen to be a student of accounting. I would definitely like to learn mergers and acquisitions, but my goal would be slightly different. Do I really create value for the entire society in which I operate? If yes, I think yes, I must proceed with it. And that value is something which is going to be long lasting. It is not only in terms of money which I give to the shareholders, but the ultimate products, ultimate services which go to the people at large. Because I think only that kind of structure would allow us to progress further. Otherwise, it will be just a talk and it will not be talk of the walk. Let me just take a small Hindi couplet and end up. निर्माणों के पावन युग में हम चरित्र निर्माण न भूले, स्वार्थ साधना की आंधी में वसुधा का कल्याण न भूले. I think the point is, we want to create the world, we want to create everything, but while we do that, let's not forget the interest of the land on which we exist, the country in which we exist. Well, friends, thank you very much for the patient hearing.